Yo, welcome back to the Gamers Tarot, a simple and fun general collective reading from your friendly neighborhood Grand Wizard Sage Gamer, of course. So let me put y'all on game for the week so you may stay strong in the current energies. And of course, we're in the middle of the week again. As you know, times, things, life gets busy, things happen. But I kind of like doing these readings in the middle of the week because it allows me to do something a little bit different, you know. So, as a disclaimer, of course, take what resonates and leave what does not. Not this message won't resonate with everyone, so don't try to force it to make it fit. As usual, we're using the Gamers Tarot deck, right? We're gonna pull 5 cards from the deck. Simple, a simple, quick reading, nothing too elaborate. And let's just see the energies that pop out. Probably, no, we're just gonna do 5. I may do more cards in the future, but 5 for now. And the underlying card, of course, is no longer a secret. So the underlying card is kind of like the underlying message, or the message hidden beyond or behind the veil. Just to give you, just to tap into all the energies, both seen and unseen, of course. 5 cards allows the reading to unfold in a more flushed out way. You can do more than 5 cards. Like you can do 10 cards. Some people do like 20 cards. It all just depends on what the reader prefers to do. I prefer to do 5 cards so as not to get too deep into the reading, but also to make sure that the message is clearly received. And also, like I said in the last video, to leave a little space for interpretation, I don't want to be as definitive with these readings because energies are often not definitive, precise, or clear. And they're very fickle, can be influenced, swayed, changed in a moment. So let's see what the first card out is. Of course, I like to shuffle the decks very thoroughly. I'll show you guys right now. So the way I shuffle is pretty much like everybody else, but I like to make sure that I evenly shuffle the cards, make sure that there's not a lot of just a lot of doing this, right? Or you're just putting the clumps on top because you're kind of just getting the same cards, And it's all about the energy anyway. So if that's what the energy leads you to do, then that's what the energy leads you to do. But I like to shuffle the cards very thoroughly so that, even the most fine of energies, even the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Even the most, not scarce, but even the most, I can't think of the word right now, but it's I can't think of it, but it's fine, basically. It's the energies that are not as bold, harder to pick up, harder to detect. That's just my method for being very precise with the reading. Okay? So let's get back to it. I gotta start shuffling again because when I showed you, that was just a demonstration shuffle. Now I'm doing a real shuffle, which is the same thing, but it's not as in the perfect energy format, you know. Okay, first card. Ooh, first card is the Lovers. Okay, let's make sure I get that in there. The Lovers card is a card of, it's pretty self explanatory. Lovers, unity, you know, relationships. It usually signifies relationships. Um, harmony, you know, harmonious coming togethers, um, cooperation, obviously love, intense emotions, things like that. I'm getting more vague as I add more words, but it's pretty self explanatory. The Lovers. It's the first card. The Lovers by itself is a pretty good card, but we need more cards to see what the message about the Lovers is. What is this message about the unity of these lovers, of this love? What is the purpose of this card coming out now? Show me. Ooh, the Sun. This is a very, very vibrant reading already. So as you can see, the Sun is right there. There's artwork, of course. I'm gonna show the card so that you can appreciate the artwork, of course, as usual. So the Sun is a very, very, very vibrant card. The Sun talks about, things being brought to the light. Also like youth, childlike innocence, purity, all the things that are like pure, like pure light, radiance, just shining, being in the spotlight. Not so much in the spotlight like the star card, but the Sun is more like that innocence, like just the truth and the brightness of the Sun. So the Sun coming out second with the Lovers, maybe it talks about some kind of pure love, some kind of childlike or innocent love manifesting for someone that may have come across this reading. Let's see what comes out more. Hopefully it stays positive, because those are some of the two most positive cards of the tarot. The Sun and the Lovers. That's pretty good so far. Someone has been having a good week and will continue to have a good week. So if you resonate with this already, then congrats to you. It's pretty exciting to see these good energies show themselves to me, because energies choose who they show themselves to, and you can be a magnet for a certain particular kind of energy. Of course, this is a general reading, so I didn't set the intent to attract positive energies or negative energies decisively, but it is a good thing. Oh, a card popped out. Let's see what this is. Oh, the Ten of Swords. Of course, I'm going to use the traditional tarot descriptions or definitions or designations, whichever word you prefer. The Ten of Swords. After these two cards, it's kind of like, I was a little, maybe I spoke too soon. I was hyping it up too much a little bit. So the Ten of Swords is a card of, it can be interpreted many ways. Like, of course, like It can be like endings in the minor suits. Um, it could be like betrayal. It could be bad news. It's usually a card of like strife, of like something bad. It can also be interpreted as, you know, how will you pick yourself back up? As you can see in the artwork of this card, you see the woman there with the sword. I think she's holding it with both hands, I think. But if not, she's holding the sword straight up, emphasized by those lights. You see the shadow hand in the background kind of reaching toward either the woman or the sword. You see that moon in the background. And you see like a man, right, with glasses right there. Right there. So it's a very shady card. It's a very like dire card. You can tell this woman is like in deep contemplation. So that's a good way I like to describe this. Like of course, maybe after something has already happened, some type of destruction or ending, it's not as bad as or it's not as finite, was the word, or it's not as like definitive as the death card. But because it's a minor card, minor arcana, but it is still serious. It is still dire. But it's not something you can't pick yourself back up from. It's not something that you cannot recalibrate yourself, is the way I like to think about it. So coming out after those two, the Lovers and the Sun, and then the Ten of Swords, it's not really that good. But before I jump to any conclusions, let's get our fourth card. Get our fourth card before I jump to any conclusions. And that card kind of popped out, unlike the first two cards, which usually I don't take cards that pop out because it's like the energy was a little too eager, and sometimes that can be like false a little bit, because it's like, you can choose to take it or you can choose not to. Sometimes I'll take it if I'm guided to. I took it this time on a whim. Perhaps I shouldn't have, but that energy was eager to pop out. So perhaps for now, I will say there is an energy that is opposing this Lovers and Sun energy. But let's see. I will pick the next card more deliberately. The fourth card is the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is very similar to which one is it? The Eight of Pentacles, in a way. It speaks of, steady progression, steady progress, which is basically steady progression. It speaks of like keeping to the script and allowing the program to flow and letting your efforts speak for themselves, basically. It speaks of being diligent in your work ethic and your process, right? So coming out after the Ten of Swords is pretty positive. It lifts the reading back up a little bit. It shows that perhaps whatever this Ten of Swords is bringing an end to, or is trying to bring an end to, the Knight of Charisma, or Knight of Pentacles, could be the solution or the course of action to kind of mitigate that Ten of Swords. or it could be, you know, it could be what's needed to move forward after. You know, you can interpret it both ways. But the final card will shed the brightest light, the final light, the near final light on this reading. Because we need the underlying card. And the underlying card in my readings kind of bring everything all together. Sometimes you can have a very bad reading and the underlying card will kind of give it hope. And sometimes you can have a very good reading and the underlying card will give you something to be wary of, be aware. Alright, so let me make sure I shuffle very, very intently for this last main card. I think that's pretty good. Oh, no, I don't want to see that card that flipped out. Nope, no more eager energies jumping out. We want clear energies. We want precise energies. We want sure energies. Powerful energies. We want energies that are sure. Sometimes I can't find the words I need to say in the moment. Bear with me. And I don't want to keep repeating the same words, but basically we want a precise card for the 5th card. You know, not an eager bunny hopping out, trying to get there. 10 seconds of fame in this reading. No, not you. Okay, I think that's enough. So the final card of the main reading. Ooh, see? The Magician. Very good. The Magician is a card that kind of makes this reading a little ambiguous because the Magician is a card that says it's kind of it's in your hands kind of card. It's kind of it can be interpreted many ways, but the way I interpret it is like it's your power. It's similar to the Ace of Swords almost. As you could, if you go back to my last reading where we had the Ace of Swords come out, the artwork is very similar, except the wizard looks more like Gandalf, you know, with the pointy hat and the white beard, and he has his hands pointed toward the camera, and he also has a book. He has like more magical particle effects, but the Magician, I kind of interpret it in a very similar way, not the same way. Whereas the Magician says, you know, it's you have to tap into your inner magician, basically. So coming out last in this reading after all these 5 cards, let's just recap before we get the underlying card. We had the Lovers come out first. So these lovers striding off towards that sunset, hearts aflutter, passions ablaze, together forever, these lovers. What could go wrong? What perils or fortunes could await them on their path? The path of the sun, the path of innocence, the path of joy, the path of true bliss and true bliss and expression, shining, being, you know, your purest authentic self, purest expression of love. These 2 cards. purest expression of love, right? But wait, then we have the Ten of Swords comes out. The Ten of Swords. Some type of peril. I keep saying the same words. Some type of, misfortune maybe. Something dire. Something urgent. Some type of setback, mishap, or even befalls these two innocent lovers, these two innocent loving energies, or this innocent loving energy, whichever way. Some type of contemplation will be needed, or is needed, or will be taken, because it's the third card out. So it's the most present card in the 5-card reading. Right? And what type of action, what type of contemplation, what does this lead to perhaps? It leads to the Knight of Pentacles. It leads to putting your head down, boots on the ground, nose in the book, get to work, keep the program, stay on the script. Right? I'm kind of mixing things up. I think it's like keep the script or something like that. Basically, let the work speak for itself. Focus on the work, not the results. Don't get too eager, and have patience. And the possibilities for all of these 4 cards, right? The possibilities. Wait. Let me get it in order. The Lovers, the Sun, kind of like the climax or the plot. It gets kind of juicy, I'm not gonna lie. It makes it kind of interesting. Right? These 4 cards, with the final card being the Magician. I like this kind of reading because it puts more of the not urgency. Why can't I never think of the words? It puts more of the agency, right? Not urgency, but agency. It puts the agency in you, the watcher, the person who may resonate with this reading. It tells you, if this is your story, that these are the steps. This is you. This is your energy. This is what's happening to you. Wait, let me get it in there. This is you and another person perhaps. This is your energies or energy. This is what's happening to you, possibly. This is what actions must be taken, yes, taken. Or will be taken, or have already been taken. And this is your outcome, the Magician. It doesn't say that you will succeed. It doesn't say that you will fail. It says that the power is in your hands. And that's the kind of readings I kind of like anyway. So it's up to you how this story plays out. But what's the underlying message? Just for a little bit more clarity, because that is very ambiguous. The bottom of the deck card is the Knight of Swords. So maybe be aware. Be aware or be alert, on alert for some kind of message or some kind of information that may shed some light on how to achieve this magician, how to make this magician be positive, I guess, unless you want a negative outcome. That's all. I don't know. That could be possible. Maybe there's a cross watcher. I don't know. That's trying to be advantageous. Yeah, all's fair in the energies, right? But the Knight of Swords said, the Knight of Swords says that either you will be receiving some kind of information, or you will be the one delivering the information, the intelligence, right? And that's the underlying. So that means that in the midst of all these 5 cards, there will be some kind of information that will be very crucial to this, the way this plays out. Not very crucial, but subtly crucial, actually, to correct myself. Subtly. It will be subtly crucial. It won't make or break the reading, but it could give you that edge to shift things in your favor. Right? Because I'm on your side. I'm not on the Crosswatcher side, but all's fair, right? So, I'm trying to get it in there. Let me get. Yes. So the Knight of Swords, as you can see, this seems like a very decorated knight, distinguished. You know, he seems important, like he has something to say. Perhaps he's waiting for like you know, an emissary or something. He's either heading there, or he just finished, or he's the emissary, you know. So, but usually the Knight of Swords is the one delivering the message. So either you're the emissary or you're the Knight of Swords. Either way, there's some kind of intelligence that you should be aware of, or that you possess, and that is a subtle way that you could influence this reading to play out the way you wish it to play out. Right? So, there you have it. That's your reading for this week. Yeah, that was a pretty good reading. I like that reading. A person like me, I would take that reading and I would get very creative with it. Get very creative with those energies and, you know, use it to my benefit. But that's just my wisdom on the situation. Of course, whatever actions you take or don't take is up to you. So I hope that reading serves you well, was enjoyable at the least. And Crosswatchers, I hope you let me not speak on the Crosswatchers, right? Yep. So that's all I have to say about it for now. Take it for what it is.